Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. This weekend we are going to witness the 2023 Bathurst 1000, part of the Australian Supercars Championship. Big title implications this year, with Brody Kostecki leading the championship from Shane van Gisbergen. This race is a showdown between Erebus and Triple Eight for all the marbles. So with that to look forward to, let's take a look at 10 random facts about the Bathurst 1000 and the Mount Panorama circuit. So make sure you become the 1000th Frontrunner Motorsport subscriber, and let's jump into the video. The Bathurst 1000 didn't start at Mount Panorama. The legacy of the Bathurst 1000 begins in 1960, but the race didn't take place at Mount Panorama until 1963, and it wasn't 1,000 kilometres until 1973. The original 500-mile race took place at Phillip Island for the first 3 years of its existence. Known as the Armstrong 500, it was held at Phillip Island until an issue with the tarmac becoming undrivable during these long races led to it moving to the famous Mount Panorama circuit we know and love. The drivers are racing for the Peter Brock Trophy. Without a shadow of a doubt, the name most associated with the Bathurst 1000 is 9-time winner the late Peter Brock. Sadly, this legend of Australian motorsport passed away in a crash at the 2006 Targa West Rally. After this incredibly sad event, the winner of every Bathurst 1000 thereafter was awarded the Peter Brock Trophy, fitting for a man who has such a strong legacy with this particular race. There were 2 Bathurst 1000s per year in the late 90s. This is an interesting one. In 1994, a separate Super Touring series was formed to run alongside the V8 Australia Touring Car Championship. To begin with, the V8s had Bathurst to themselves, but in 1997 and 1998, both series had a Bathurst 1000. This was all due to a very complicated controversy involving the broadcast rights, but all 4 Bathurst 1000s from these 2 years are included in the Supercars record books. The first race was won by a Vauxhall. For the majority of the Bathurst 1000's existence, it has been a battle between Ford and Holden, but it did start as a multi-class touring car race with a lot of different manufacturers, and the first winner of the Phillip Island Armstrong 500 held in 1960 were John Roxburgh and Frank Code in a Vauxhall Cresta. Incidentally, my dad's first car was a Vauxhall Cresta. I asked him what it was like. He said it was terrible. Mercedes, Morris, Jaguar, BMW and Volvo have all won a Bathurst 1000. And it's not just Vauxhall having wins in the Bathurst history books. Bob Jane and Harry Firth started a run of 3 wins together in a Mercedes 220 SE in 1961. Rauno Aaltonen and Bob Holden won in a Morris Cooper S in 1966. John Goss and Armin Hahn won in a Jaguar XJS in 1985. The years where there were 2 Bathurst races, the Super Touring races were won by Jeff and David Brabham in a BMW and Jim Richards and Rickard Rydell in a Volvo. That means if a Chevrolet wins in 2023, it'll be the first manufacturer that isn't Ford or Holden to win the Bathurst 1000 in 25 years. Only 8 Bathurst 1000s have been won by drivers not from Australia or New Zealand. Almost every winner of the most famous race in Australia has been an Australian. Not surprisingly. Those 8 drivers are Rauno Aaltonen of Finland, Alan Moffat of Canada, John Fitzpatrick and Wyn Percy of Britain, Jackie Ickx of Belgium, Armin Hahn of Germany, Rickard Rydell of Sweden, and Alexandre Premat of France. Whilst I bundled New Zealand and Australia together, only 5 Kiwis have won the race. Jim Richards took 7 wins, Stephen Richards took 5, Greg Murphy won 4, Shane van Gisbergen has 2 and 1 for Scott McLaughlin. That's 19 wins between 5 drivers. Not too shabby. Denny Holm passed away during a Bathurst 1000. Despite the scary technical nature of the Mount Panorama track, there have been very few fatalities in Bathurst 1000 races. Denny Holm won the 1967 Formula 1 World Championship with Brabham, and in the years after he retired from F1, he won multiple Can-Am championships and raced in the Bathurst 1000 every year between 1982 and 1992. During the 1992 Bathurst 1000, Holm was racing for Benson & Hedges Racing in a BMW M3 alongside Paul Morris. During the race he complained of blurred vision but continued because he thought it was down to the heavy rain. He had a fatal heart attack, crashing on the Conrad Straight at 114 miles per hour, bringing the car to a halt before being removed to Bathurst Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. His last few years were tough after losing his son on Christmas Day in 1988, and he died at one of his favourite races. He will always be remembered as a legend of motorsport. More than half have been won by Holden. 2023 will be the 66th running of some form of the Bathurst 1000. 36 of those races have been won by a Holden, a number that will sadly not go up anymore as the brand is dead. They took their first win in 1968 with Bruce McPhee and Barry Mulholland in a Holden HK Monaro GTS 327. Their 36th and final win would be Shane van Gisbergen and Garth Tander in 2022. Peter Brock took all 9 of his Bathurst wins in a Holden, first winning the race in 1972 and his 9th in 1987. Peter Brock took a quarter of all Holden victories at Bathurst, and that is why he is the king of the mountain. Jamie Whincup only won it 4 times. This sounds like a lot, but when you consider Jamie Whincup dominated this series between 2007 and 2021, 4 just seems like a small amount. He did finish second 3 times, but his last podium in the Bathurst 1000 was all the way back in 2013. He is still going and joins Brock Feeney in 2023. Maybe he can finally take win number 5. Peter Brock and Jim Richards once won by 6 laps. So the final Bathurst 1000 fact for 2023, and we once again mentioned Peter Brock. Something which was just bound to happen, honestly. Peter Brock and Jim Richards won the 1979 Bathurst 1000, 6 laps ahead of second place. This was the final win for the Holden Torana before it was replaced in 1980 by the Commodore. Not only did Peter Brock and Jim Richards finish 6 laps ahead of everyone else, but Holden Toranas filled the first 8 places. For Toyota in 9th place was 17 laps off the lead. I mean, it was a different class, but it's still a lot. So, there are some interesting facts about the Bathurst 1000. If you have your own, leave them down in the comments below. A prediction for 2023, I think Erebus deserved the win, but I can't bet against Shane van Gisbergen. Win number 3 and a major challenge in the championship with 4 races left after the famous mountain race. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, nearly at 1000. Can we get 1000 whilst the Bathurst 1000 is going on? Thank you very much for your support and for watching this video. More incoming this weekend with the Qatar Grand Prix. So watch the Motorsport and have a good one.